takeover War Games. Now, I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen the product for about 3 months. But I still do recognize most of the people that were there. Now, I did not see a lot of Cassius Ohno because I believe by the time I stopped watching was when he came back. Because if I remember correctly, he was gone for a little while because of an injury, and he finally came back. And I do remember seeing him on the last show I watched, that he had returned. That could be about 3 or 4 months, at least 3 or 4 months. And I really haven't seen the progression for his character since he's been back. Now, I do remember seeing Sullivan before, but I wasn't sure how to feel about him. At least until I saw this match, and I was highly impressed with Sullivan. I actually could get behind a guy like that. In the end, he won. But since I don't see the product often enough, I can't tell if his character is great or not compared to Cassius Ohno, since I didn't see his character either. So it's kind of like, well, if I have to take a choice by sheer performance, Cassius Ohno was okay, but Sullivan just seemed to be better for me personally. Now, here's a match that I felt was the second best match of the night for me personally. And this was Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream. I'm sorry. You know what these guys make me feel? And this is honest. Velveteen Dream reminds me of a young, very inexperienced, but a young Booker T with a bad character. But he just makes me think he screams Booker T when Harlem Heat just started. That's what it felt like. And I mean the very beginnings of Harlem Heat. Not like halfway into the run and then when they became really good. Like the very beginning. I didn't see a lot of Harlem Heat back in the 90s because I wasn't 100% into the product. But I did see Harlem Heat. I did see his brother and I did see him. And I liked him. He just has that feel of Harlem Heat. Like he's just a guy from the hood that just wants to just show off and just not be gay. But to be like, I can act any way I want and I can kick your ass on top of looking ridiculous and you will respect me for that. And then you have Aleister Black, which to me, I could be wrong, he feels like a Bray Wyatt replacement. And that's upsetting. I know a lot of people will say, what? No one can replace Bray Wyatt. He kind of could. I've seen Aleister Black before. If I'm pronouncing his name properly, I'm sorry if I'm not. But he is the personification of a character that has a theme of the dark and the light. Like a Zen type of character. The way he goes into the sitting position in the ring. The way his persona is. His lowbrow talking, but high impact, just screams a type of character like that. Now, I'm not saying he'll succeed on the main roster. They could bury his ass just like Bray Wyatt. Because Bray Wyatt should be way better than he is, and he is not. But as it stands, that's what I got from him. Was this match fun? Yes. It was funny. It was fun. And in the end, Aleister Black beats the crap out of Velveteen. I get for not seeing the product for 3 to 4 months. Velveteen Dream. He waits until he regains himself and he says, what was it? I hope you enjoy your epitaph. Or calamity. Whatever it was. Velveteen Dream. He finally gave him the respect he wanted. He said, say my name throughout the entire match. You will respect me and say my name. And that just really made it for me for that match. Now, here's a match it did not make for me. It wasn't a bad match. It just didn't feel really right. And this is Drew McIntyre versus Almost. And I forgot her name, Vega. I mean, what is it, Selena Vega? Or, Selena Vega. The former Rosita. I don't know why I'm looking so orange in the picture. I'm not that orange. Anyway, when I saw this match, I just didn't feel right about it. It just didn't feel important. And it's not that I don't know the story. I do know about the story. I had remembered that Selena Vega was working with Almost to try and make up for all the mistakes and stupid attitudes supposedly he was giving about being drinking and not really doing his job as a wrestler. I get that, and she's willing, and that was the one thing I enjoyed the most out of the match. She literally put her ass on the line. She didn't just grab. She actually was willing to do hurricanranas. She was willing to hit Drew McIntyre. She was willing to do whatever it took for him to win. And I felt that made it good. But when it comes to Almost, and I'm not against Almost, he's 215 pounds. He's way heavier than me. He just doesn't feel like a credible threat against a Drew McIntyre. He just didn't. And it wasn't because he kept kicking out of Almost's moves and stopping Almost and basically could not be beaten. It's just that he gives off something that just doesn't seem like... I mean, I know the crowd was behind him, but he just didn't feel like a credible champion. Not that he couldn't be. He just wasn't screaming it. He isn't going, yeah! He was going, yeah! That's what it felt like. Maybe it's because his character still doesn't feel fully developed to me personally. Maybe to you he felt very well developed with Sienna. I can't remember her name, Vega. But in the end, he just didn't feel credible to me. And then he dropped the freaking title being so freaking excited. Drew did a good job of showing how emotional he was losing the title. He did a great job. But when it came to Almost running around, jumping up and down, and then dropping the freaking title, and then the commentary team trying to cover for him because he acted that klutzy. Not saying you can't be a klutz as a wrestler, but seeing that just reinforced how I felt. That he doesn't feel like a, yeah! He feels like a, yeah! That's just how I felt about it. It was an okay match. But that's just how I felt. Now, the women's 4-way match for the NXT Championship. Having Kylie Zane. I'm saying Zane instead of Sane. The Amber Moon. The Nikki Cross. And Royale. I mean, she's a beautiful. I'm not going to say that all the other women are good looking. Oh, yes, every one of them are good looking. But Royale just has something. I forgot her name. Celine Royale, I believe. I can't remember her name. But I said Celine. Anyway, she just has something special. She just did. And she did a good job in the match. All the women did. Nikki Cross was epically nuts. I enjoyed that. Well, I don't know how tall she was. 4'9", 5 foot tall. She was just... You think Alexa Bliss is 5 feet of fury. Nikki Cross, she will give a run for her money. That woman just oozes madness like a, oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. Anyway, I can't remember her name. She'll come to me later. But in the end, it was good to see Amber Moon win. And we needed this last year. No, not last year. Months ago. The last match they had, Asuka should have dropped the title to her. To be honest, that's just my point of view. In the last match they both had, honestly, Asuka should have dropped it. They shouldn't have saved Asuka as a champ. She should have just dropped the strap. It would have been better for her that way. But in the end, Amber Moon finally got it. And I feel like it was right for her to win it there. And it was right for her to be the champion. That's just how I feel. And the thing that got me, which was classy, but kind of like a bittersweet classy, because it was Asuka who asked William Regal to be allowed to give it to her. That kind of rubs in my face a little bit as a fan. I know I haven't seen the product for 3 to 4 months, but I'm going to be honest. Amber Moon should have gotten the title. She should have been allowed to take the title from Asuka, and it would have meant something months ago to me personally. Here, she gets handed the title by a woman that wasn't allowed to drop it, either because she said it would be better for me to keep my winning streak, or they said, no, you can't drop it even if you want to. So for me, it was kind of bittersweet. I'm just being honest. That's just how I felt about it. Now, what else was here? That's it. Final match of the night. War Games. Now, I'm not going to say that I saw many War Games back in the 90s. I didn't. I mean, I didn't really see a lot of WCW back before it became Attitude-y. I saw maybe about 2 or 3 matches, maybe 4 at the most, of War Games. It wasn't like I saw them often. And I was very perplexed by them. I didn't really understand 100% at the time what the match was all about. I mean, it wasn't that I didn't see WCW much. It's just I'd never seen that type of match before, and I was kind of confused at the time. I was kind of simple-minded back then. My mind wasn't fully developed. Not like the genius type of mind I have right now. But anyway, I understand what the match really represented now. And seeing that they were willing to bring this 20-year near match back, and I hope they keep going forward with it, was a good idea. They need to do something different on NXT to basically set it apart from Raw and SmackDown. Particularly that Raw and SmackDown are not doing good. And from what I understand, the ratings for NXT is a bit higher, almost. If you were going to put them all head-to-head live, NXT would probably have higher ratings than Raw and SmackDown. I'm just being honest here. NXT, if it was live, and it had its own time slot, if you do Monday, Tuesday, or Friday, or Thursday, and NXT had its own slot, I truly believe if it was live for 1 hour, it would literally beat Raw and SmackDown. Honestly, I think it would. Not because I'm an NXT fan. It's just that because of how the product has been produced by Triple H, it just has more to it than the other products do. Under the same umbrella of the WWE. Did I enjoy this match? Yes, I did. Who was the best people that were there? Well, this is the thing that got me a little upset. I know the Undisputed Era, and I did see Adam Cole before I stopped watching. Like episode 1 or 2 after he arrived. I think 2 episodes after he arrived. I did see him. He seemed to be impressive. But I wasn't sure how to feel about him. That's why I didn't do any reviews. But seeing how the Undisputed Era has been created for the last couple of months, and now seeing culminated here, I can say this. Undisputed Era is kind of nice to see, but I don't think it deserved to win the match. The 2 groups that needed to really be the ones to get that match should have either been Sanity or the Authors of Pain. Particularly, I believe Sanity should have won that match. Because as I've said, the Authors of Pain should move on to one of the other rosters. They should have already left. And they should move on to SmackDown or Raw. My wish is that the Authors... I'm kind of upset about this. Because I think Sanity should have won. And in the next couple of months, the Authors of Pain should go to SmackDown. That's the truth. I think they would do great on SmackDown. Not Raw. Do not throw them on Raw because they would have no idea what to do with them. I think you would stand a better chance of having the Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering on SmackDown Live. They will ruin them with Paul Ellering by their side. They will be ruined. And that's the truth. So when you see this match, which was very good, and you see members of the Authors of Pain in Aiken, he did very well. Then you have the Belfast, what is it? The Beast of Belfast. I can't remember his name. I never could remember it before. He did a very good job manhandling everyone. And then Adam Cole, who I felt... Look, I don't hate Adam Cole. But him doing that superplex off the top of the cage. And the problem was that his partner, who I don't recognize, I didn't see him before. I'm a little sick, sorry. He just didn't feel right crawling from one end of the cage to the other. He didn't. He felt like a waste of time having to crawl from one end of the cage to another. And as much as everyone was screaming, Adam Cole, baby, it felt clunky. It felt wasteful. He could have just crawled to one he could have just crawled on the floor of the mat, of the ring, then climbed up, and then did it. And in between then, it would have been more interesting than people wondering if he's going to jump out of the cage or not. It just felt wrong. And that's just me. You guys might have loved what he was doing, crawling from one end to another on top of the cage, basically screwing the cage as he's running across it. But for me, Adam Cole just looked terrible. And it really turned me off. And by the time they did that superplex, that's the best way I'm going to say it, which was heavily telegraphed, it just didn't feel right. In the end, it was the Undisputed Era who won. And everyone is just sprawled in the ring, bloodied, and wiped out. How do I feel about this takeover? It was good. I do believe that there was an issue that a lot of people were not willing to sell super moves. Their finishers. Like when it came to Drew McIntyre and Omos. They were doing a huge amount of super moves. And there was just too many of them. When it came to Aleister Black and Velveteen... I'm sorry. This is what I get for not watching a product for about 3 to 4 months. Velveteen Dream. Oh, that made me feel so good to laugh. They were selling a lot of super moves or some type of grappling. But compared to the championship match, Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black, even though they were selling a lot of super moves, they were doing a lot of comedic activity in the ring, which offset it a lot, which balanced it for me. Seeing this, there was way too much non-selling of super moves. That's what I mean, non-selling. I'm so sorry I botched that. But you get my point. There was just too much non-selling through some of the matches. And only one match did it right, making it funny and fun. But I can say that this show was actually pretty good. I wasn't bored with it. Yeah, it pissed me off a little bit with the non-selling and what happened with Adam Cole on top of the cage of the War Game match. That really turned me off. But otherwise, it was a solid pay-per-view that made me laugh. I enjoyed it. The women made me happy. Seeing that Amber Moon won, kind of seeing Asuka give her the title kind of upset me. No, it did upset me. I just felt like Asuka should have not handed her the belt when they last did it. She should have really jobbed properly for her. But that's just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. And watch for my Survivor Series review tomorrow. Peace.